It has been an interesting week, to say the least. For those of you guys who follow me on Twitter, you already know that there's been a pretty serious copyright strike against this channel, which is a very, very serious violation. And there's been some very interesting following drama and the fallout of the copyright strike. And I promise you all, I will give you guys an update once we get everything settled and it's all sorted out. I'll pull back the curtains and let you guys know exactly what's been going on. But in the meantime, it's also been Tokyo Game Show, and a new Resident Evil game got announced, and I've been so preoccupied I haven't even had a chance to talk about it yet on this channel. And let's put an end to that. So the game is called Project Resistance, which is a spin-off Resident Evil game. And you know, my experiences with the spin-off Resident Evil games, like fucking Outbreak is awesome, first of all. And then things like Operation Raccoon City. Fucking this game, dude, this freaking game. I got so duped on this game. I went and played it with a bunch of my friends at PAX West back in like 2011. And this game, for some reason, it demoed very, very well. And we were all super stoked on Operation Raccoon City after the demo, because you're in this environment where you're all on headphones and you're all talking to each other, and you're just excited to be there in the first place. And we had like a great time in like the one mission that we got to play together. And then we're all like, oh yeah, Operation Raccoon City, best game that we played at the show. And we all bought it afterwards, and then we played it for like, you know, we played it for like a few sessions and then never touched it again after that. It was a game that really did not live up to expectations. It's not terrible. It's not good. But then you got things like Umbrella Corps, which completely bombed. And that is a game I didn't even touch. I didn't even bother touching or trying out Umbrella Corps at all, which for a Resident Evil game, spin-off or not, that is crazy. For me to not even touch it whatsoever. It was just not what anybody wanted. So now we have this new spin-off asymmetrical multiplayer game that's using the RE engine. It looks like it's using a lot of Resident Evil 2's assets, even things like the menus, the animations, like when a zombie grabs you, obviously Mr. X. It's very much pulling a lot from Resident Evil 2 and pasting it into this new spin-off game. And an important thing to note is this game is actually not being developed by Capcom. They're actually outsourcing this game. It's being developed by a company called Neobards Entertainment, who I've actually never even heard of before, but they've worked with Capcom a lot in the past, but mainly doing like remasters and ports. They did like the Onimusha port. I think they did like the Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 ports as well, which admittedly were pretty good. But as far as like game design and creating something on their own, I don't think they've ever really been tested like this before with a giant IP like Resident Evil. So just watching the trailer, like I wasn't super sold on it. Like my history with asymmetrical multiplayer games also doesn't run super deep. Like how many asymmetrical multiplayer games have really like been a gigantic success? The only ones I could really think of are like Dead by Daylight, which is still chugging along. People still play Dead by Daylight, so the formula obviously works. Like this can work. Admittedly, I did play Friday the 13th for like a weekend, and I had a blast despite the jank of that game. Ah! And just looking at the actual gameplay videos, there's also a jank to this game as well. So I wouldn't be worried about the jank too much. I think you can still have fun with it. Oh no! Oh, he missed! You fuck! And after watching like the actual Tokyo Game Show, they did a live gameplay demo and they played like a full entire round on stage. That actually, it sold me on it a little bit more. It looked a little bit better actually watching these people play and watching how they react to the ridiculous scenarios that the mastermind can actually come up with. But the thing is, the role that looks the most interesting, hands down, like by far, is the role of the mastermind. And that's kind of the way it goes with these asymmetrical multiplayer games. You know, Friday the 13th, everyone just wants to play as Jason. Playing as the camp counselors wasn't nearly as fun. So in this game, I think it's gonna be kind of the same thing, right? You're playing as the mastermind. Like, who doesn't want to play as the mastermind? You can set up all these traps, you know, pick the zombie placement, the placement of the liquors. You can play as Mr. X. Who doesn't want that? So I really hope that this game does try to make the role of the survivors a little bit more fun and make them make them a little bit more powerful. I know, like, playing as the camp counselors in Friday the 13th, you were just so vulnerable. You were so useless. You couldn't really do anything. You just had to try to escape. But in this game, like, it looks like they have some power-ups, and they have different traits and classes, and they can obviously fight back with their weapons. There is a closed beta coming out in October that I'm gonna do my best to get into, but this is also one of those games where I think playing with friends is gonna make or break the experience. Playing this solo with a bunch of randoms is probably gonna be, it's gonna be okay. It might be a fun like Twitch game. I could see a lot of people enjoying this game on Twitch and having fun watching it, especially if you can get like a group going. But playing solo is definitely gonna hinder the experience, and because of that, I don't know about my future with this game. I don't know if I'll really invest a lot of time into it. Another thing is the price point. The price point of this game is going to be very, very important. If this is a full price game, it's going to be completely dead on arrival. Because honestly, it looks like a multiplayer add-on that should have been in Resident Evil 2, to be honest. Especially considering it's reusing a bunch of the assets, and it's possibly coming out in the same year, possibly not. It might be early next year. But I don't see this being a full price game. If they're smart, it'll be like a $20 budget title. Maybe it'll be one of those things where if you own Resident Evil 2, you can get like a discounted price. I don't know. But it is going to be interesting. I am a huge Resident Evil fan after all. At the very least, I want to try out the beta. And, you know, Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 3 Remake, those are the things that everyone's waiting on. But, you know, some people are super impatient. I can wait for those. Like, we got Resident Evil 2 this year, and people are already clamoring for where's Resident Evil 3 Remake. And 3 Remake is definitely the thing that I'm waiting for the most, just because Resident Evil 3, that's the game that you can't play. You can't play anywhere else. It hasn't gotten a remake. It hasn't been touched since the 90s. So that's the one that I think is the most overdue to be revisited. Anyways, I just want to make a quick video sharing my thoughts on Project Resistance. Let me know, of course, what your guys' thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.